Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret language of our cells. We're talking about a hidden network that allows trillions, yes, trillions of them to coordinate everything from our heartbeat to how a cut on your finger heals. It's a system built on incredible cooperation. But as we're about to see, it can also be a story of betrayal, all playing out on a scale you can't even imagine. I mean, really think about that for a second. How do the cells in your heart all know to beat at the exact same time in perfect rhythm? How do your tissues know when to grow and, just as importantly, when to stop? It all boils down to this one question. See, our bodies aren't just a bag of cells. They're this super coordinated, highly organized society. So how in the world are they all talking to each other? Well, to get to the bottom of that, we need to dive into the body's very own internal social network. This is the system that lets cells stay in constant, direct touch with their neighbors. Yeah, long before we had smartphones in our pockets, our cells already had their own version. Back in the 90s, researchers came up with a perfect name for them, the original cellular phone. And the hero of this whole story is a tiny little structure called the Gap Junction. So what exactly is a gap junction? Okay, imagine two houses sitting right next to each other. A gap junction is like a secret private hallway built directly between their living rooms. It's a literal physical channel that connects the inside of one cell to the inside of the next, letting them share stuff without ever having to go outside. So, how is this incredible piece of biological machinery actually built? Well, it's a really fascinating process, kind of like building something with microscopic Legos. It all happens in 4 main steps. First, the cell makes these specific proteins called connexins. Think of those as the individual little bricks. Second, 6 of those connexin bricks snap together to form a half channel, which is called a connexin. Third, a connexin on one cell perfectly lines up and docks with a connexin from its neighbor, and boom, you have a complete open channel. And finally, hundreds, sometimes thousands of these channels bunch up together, forming this massive communication hub called a gap junction plaque. So, here's the key takeaway. A gap junction is basically a direct pipeline for sharing. It allows for the free, easy flow of small stuff, we're talking ions, important chemical messengers, even nutrients like glucose, from one cell to the next. But it is selective. Anything too big, like proteins or DNA, can't get through the door. But here's the thing. These hallways aren't just dumb pipes that are always open. No way. They are incredibly sophisticated gates that can open and close to control the flow of information. Think of them like a biological airlock. These channels are controlled or gated in 2 main ways. On one side, you've got voltage gating. This is a super fast response. We're talking about 2 milliseconds, and it's triggered by changes in electricity between the cells. It's basically an electrical switch. On the other side is chemical gating. This one's a bit slower, and it responds to chemical signals inside the cell, like a sudden burst of calcium ions or a change in acidity. It's more like a chemical lock and key. Now, this whole system is just elegant, and it's absolutely essential for our health. But what happens when the genetic blueprints for these channels, those connexin proteins, have a typo? Well, that's when things can go really, really wrong. This leads to a whole class of diseases called connexinopathies. And the name really says it all, a pathology, or disease, that's caused by a faulty connexin gene. When the building blocks themselves are flawed, the entire communication network can start to fail. And the consequences of that failure can be profound. For instance, a mutation in the connexin 32 gene can lead to Charcot-Marie tooth disease, which affects the nerves in our arms and legs. A faulty connexin 26 is linked to hereditary deafness and some skin disorders. And mutations in connexin 43 can cause a really complex syndrome that affects the development of eyes, teeth, and fingers. It just goes to show you how critical this cellular chit-chat is all over the body. Okay, now for what might be the most complex and fascinating part of this whole story, the relationship between gap junctions and cancer. Because here, they are not simply good or bad. They play this paradoxical, completely double-edged role. So, on the one hand, healthy gap junction communication is a powerful tumor suppressor. By keeping all the cells connected, they share signals that enforce normal behavior. They're like the neighborhood watch, making sure no cell starts dividing out of control. In fact, a lot of tumors actually show a drop in the number of gap junctions they have. But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist. In the later stages, some cancer cells do something incredibly devious. They start building more gap junctions. They hijack the communication system to talk to other cells, even the healthy cells lining our blood vessels. And that can help them escape the original tumor and metastasize, or spread, to completely different parts of the body. This brings us to our final powerful concept. It's a phenomenon that comes directly out of this interconnected web of cells, and it has a pretty chilling name: the bystander effect. The bystander effect is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. If one cell gets damaged and starts its self-destruct sequence, it can actually pass that death signal through its gap junctions to its perfectly healthy neighbors. The result? A wave of cell death spreads from just one spot, killing innocent bystanders in the process. But in this brilliant therapeutic twist, scientists are now harnessing this deadly effect for good. In some cancer gene therapies, they introduce a drug into just a few tumor cells. That drug gets converted into a poison, and thanks to the bystander effect, the tumor cells themselves spread that poison to their cancerous neighbors through their gap junctions, creating a powerful, self-perpetuating chain reaction of destruction. Which brings us right back to where we started. This incredibly complex network of gap junctions is the very foundation of our existence. It allows for amazing teamwork. But, as we've seen, that exact same connection can spread disease, it can help cancer travel, and it can transmit death signals. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? Is this profound cellular teamwork both our greatest blessing and, at times, our greatest curse?